significant, because all they want is to keep us stagnant. Keep on saying the prime minister, that is the former prime minister, said this, the former prime minister said that, and whenever the government wants to take decision, they will use that narrative to thwart the decision of the government and of the Biafran people. So
and they go to use hungry people like Rafael Ajarere, Madam Rafael Ajarere, to be pushing out the message. They will be using that to push out those lies, and that is what the former prime minister said. You understand? No offense, my brother. Carry on, Jare.
Yeah, Rich, please, you allow me. Let me just finish. Okay, so we can go. So let me just read it off. This lobbying war. Now, you know, whenever we are making our statement here, we say we are fighting a diplomatic warfare with the Nigerian terrorist government in United States of America and Washington, D.C. Now they have come to acknowledge that, yes, we are at war with them diplomatically, and that is why they can come up with this caption saying this lobbying war isn't just about image, it's about sanctions, weapons, and war. Biafran lobbyists are pushing for US sanction and recognition of a breakaway state. So they have come to realize that what the Biafran people are doing in Washington, D.C. is for them to have their own statehood, to have their own country, and is about to come into fusion at the end of the day. Now, why Nigerian lobbyists are working to secure intelligence sharing, weapons deliveries, and continue US military support. Now, let's go to the main deal where I want every one of us to see. Nigerian hires American firm to counterforce narratives about country. The Tinubu administration hires American lobbyists to defend its image in Washington as Biafran separatists push for sanctions. The Nigerian government has hired an American lobby firm for $750,000 US per month over 6 months to defend its international reputation in Washington, D.C., spending a total of $4.5 million. That's every 6 months. That in a year is about $9 million. I want every one of us to establish that fact, because the contract is six months. After 6 months, they have to pay another $4.5 million, and they have budgeted $9 million to carry out their lies and propaganda in Washington and D.C. The federal government contract with DCI Group AZ LLC runs for 6 months and is valued at $4.5 million, as I just explained just now. Under the agreement, DCI Group is mandated to brief the United States government on Nigeria's efforts to protect both Christians and Muslims. You see the kind of lies. You see the kind of lies these people are trying to, they are trying to take to Washington, D.C., trying to say, okay, the Nigerian government, they are doing their best to protect both Christians and Muslims. But who are the people killing the Christians? Are they not the Muslims shouting Allah Akbar that are killing the Christians? So how is it now that they are protecting the Christians and Muslims, of which we all know they are not doing anything to protect the Christians, of which even today, as we speak, there is still Christian genocide happening in Nigeria. They are still kidnapping, they are still killing, they are still bombing Christians in their homes, in their churches, in their marketplace, and in their environs. So the American government should be very careful in whatever dealings they are having with the Nigerian terrorist government, because they are coming up there with their newfound lobbies to lie against the Christian genocide that is currently happening in Nigeria. Now, as Nigeria engaged lobbyists in Washington, Biafran separatists and other interest groups are simultaneously working to persuade the US government that Christians face systematic persecution in the country. Yes, it is very obvious the Christians are facing systematic persecution because of the Islamization agenda that the Nigerian terrorist government have in that contraption. So it doesn't matter how you people want to paint the picture with your newfound lobbies that you have budgeted $9 million to contract over there to go and spill the rubbish and lie against the Christian genocide that is currently happening in Nigeria. It will not work. Nigeria is spending significantly more than the Biafran. Whenever I hear this Biafran separatists, there's so much butterflies in my stomach. Nigeria is spending significantly more than the Biafran separatists, who are investing about $66,000 US in their own American lobby campaign. Who told them that we are spending 66,000 US dollars? They don't know what we are doing, so they don't have the right to tell us how much we are spending regarding our lobbies in Washington, D.C. The separatist lobbyist is advocating sanctions against Nigeria and seeking U.S. recognition of Biafra independence. And now I want to tell every Biafrans out there, is it what the Biafra Republic government in exile is doing in Washington DC? Is it not for the benefit of every one of you? Because the Nigerian terrorist government have come to acknowledge the efforts and the vision and the mission of the Biafra Republic government in exile and its lobbies in Washington DC is to deliver you, is to rescue you from the hands of this Nigerian terrorist government. So what are you now still waiting for? To come on board to support what we are doing? Because it is stated very clearly here in Premium Times that the separatist lobbyist is advocating sanctions against Nigeria and seeking recognition for Biafra independence. Now I read more. Their mandate includes briefing U.S. government officials and private sector stakeholders on what they describe as challenge facing the people of Biafra, while arguing that the region should be recognized as an independent state. This lobbying battle intensified after US President Donald Trump designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, and in November 2025, threatening to deploy American troops to Nigeria, guns ablazing, to halt what he described as the persecution of Christians. Mr. Trump's threat prompted swift action by President Bola Tinubu's government. In November, Nigeria National Secretary Advisor Nuhu Ribadu held discussions in Washington, D.C. with officials from U.S. Department of Defense and some other members of the Trump administration. On the 20th November, Mr. Ribadu and the Nigerian delegation met U.S. Defense Secretary Peter Hegseth and General Dan Kane, a top U.S. military official. Officials from both countries described the meeting as productive. Following Mr. Ribado's visit, Nigeria and the United States established a joint team to share intelligence and fast-track weapon deliveries. On Christmas Day, after all their shenanigans in Washington, D.C. with the American government, on Christmas Day, U.S. cruise missiles struck suspected terrorist targets in parts of Sokoto and Zamfara states. Mr. Trump told the New York Times on 8th January that additional U.S. strikes were likely if what he termed attacks on Nigerian Christians population continue. On Tuesday, U.S. forces delivered critical military equipment to Nigeria. The United States African Command, AFRICOM, announced, stating that the delivery support Nigeria's ongoing operation and emphasize more shared security partnership. We know that the Nigerian terrorist government cannot keep to whatever agreement they are flying all over the places to have with the American government, because till today, we also saw a video recently where ISIS terrorists are crossing the checkpoint of the so-called Nigerian military. I don't know, maybe some of us saw that video. I posted it on my X handle, where non-terrorists, ISIS, ISWAP terrorists are passing with their pickup convoys. And the Nigerian so-called military were unable to act. So how do you think that the American government will take such a government serious after seeing all these lapses in the government? And what is that? And what is that? That action? What is it portraying to the American government and even to we the Biafran people? Is that Nigerian government accomplices to the genocide of Christians in Nigeria, and the best option that the American government can take now is to make sure that Biafra is recognized. So I read on. Who is doing the lobby? The people that are doing the lobby for the Nigerian terrorist government. Kaduna-based law firm Asta Lega retained DCI Group, a Washington DC-based public affairs communications and lobby firm founded by seasoned political authority to act on behalf of Nigeria. The 6-month contract signed on 17th September 2025 by Asta Lega managing partner Oyetunji Olaleko Teslim, and the DCI Group Managing Member, Justin Peterson, runs through 30th June 2026 and includes an automatic renewal clause. DCI Group works will be led by the managing partners, Justin Peterson and Brian McCabe. Mr. Trump had, in 2020, appointed Mr. Peter as its representative to the Financial Oversight and Management Board for Puerto Rico. DCI Group shall assist the Nigerian government through Asta Lega in communicating its actions to protect Nigerian Christian communities and maintaining U.S. support in countering West African jihadist group and other destabilizing elements, the agreement stated. This other destabilizing element is we, the Biafran people. Is we that it is we that they are included in this destabilizing element. I know that is what is in their mind. Either party may terminate the agreement with 60 days written notice. Document filed with the U.S. Department of Justice show that Nigerian paid a $4.5 million retainer on 12th of December 2025, covering the first 6 months of the agreement. The contract specifies clients shall pay consultants a monthly retainer of $750,000 US dollars, being full payment of professional fees and expenses covered under this agreement. The monthly payment shall be made in 2 6-month installments of $4,500,000 US dollars on due upon execution of this agreement and order expiration of 6 months from the effective date. Now, what the Biafrans want, they now come again. What the Biafrans want, the so-called, you people are crazy. We are not so-called. They are the Biafran Republic government in exile. Now, what the Biafran wants, the Biafran, although they say the so-called, but I'm using the Biafran Republic government in exile. The Biafra Republic government in exile. Are we all hearing the name they mentioned here? Please, I need a response. I need a response.
Yes, so
what
finally,
did everyone of
I
want to ask you, Toti, let me ask you. This useless Ajere where they mention Biafra Republic government in exile. Can we ask him a question? If actually are they the Biafra government in exile that are lobbying that Nigeria is mentioning? Please, I just want, if they are around, if they can tell us, yes, they are the Biafra Republic government in exile that Nigeria terrorist government are mentioning. So for them to know that there is only one Biafra Republic government in exile, there is no two. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. There is only one Biafra Republic government in exile, and the Prime Minister is no other person than Mazi Oge Nkere. Now, the so-called Biafran Republic government in exile is spending far less than the Nigerian government, but pursuing far-reaching objectives. I want to read it again for every one of us to understand what the so-called Biafran Republic government in exile is spending far less than the Nigerian government, but is pursuing that. What Mazi Elias Gereasolis is doing in Washington, D.C. is piercing through every political corridor in Washington, D.C. The Nigerian brought pursuing far-reaching objectives, and that is why you see the Nigerian terrorist government in full panic mode now. Because Elias and the Mandaburi and other people that are working for the Biafran people under the Biafran Republic government in exile have been able to overturn that table of impunity of the Nigerian terrorist government in Washington, D.C. They have been able to portray the true image of the Nigerian terrorist government in Washington, D.C. And the congressmen and women and the United States of American government have come to see Nigeria for whom they are. That is why they have to go this far to budget $9 million to come so you guys should wait because this thing is making me, I'm somehow agitated now to finish Nigeria in one day. To counter the obvious truth that the Biafran people are presenting before the American government. That is why they are going as far as bringing $9 million to counter the obvious truth that prompts the American government to designate Nigeria as a particular country of concern. The truth that pushed the American government to strike the terrorists in Sokoto and Zamfara is what the Nigerian terrorist government think that, they believe that everything is money. That is the problem of the Nigerian terrorist government. They believe that everything is money, that as long as they have money, they can be able to buy whomever they want to buy. But Okwana found this time around. Because America is very much awake to the truth of what is really happening to the Christians in that contraption. And the American government have first-hand information of the Islamization agenda of the Nigerian terrorist government. But they will allow them to do whatever they want to do. But at the end of the day, they came late. Now, Briggy will pay a monthly fee of $10,000 for service provided from January to March 30, 2026. Subsequently, Briggy will pay a monthly fee of $12,000 for services provided from April 1st, 2026 to June 31st, 2026. The agreement shows. The contract with Washington, the contract with Washington and Madison announced the contract between Washington and Madison. This Washington and Madison LLC is the new lobbyist firm that belongs to Mazi Elias, of which we also recently, when it was published in all media platforms, and also we saw where even our newly elected prime minister also went into contract with Mazi Elias with this is new lobbyist firm. And there is no other people that are portraying themselves as the people fighting for the Biafran people out there that have taken this bold step that is being recognized by the international community and also our enemies, the Nigerian terrorist government. They did not recognize Orabu Fulani. They did not recognize what is that name that Reid used to call Imam Madam and their so-called government.
Imam Amugu.
Imam Amugu. Thank you very much for reminding me that. Did Imam Amugu or the Orabu Fulani, the demented and psychopath woman in Georgia, did you see where they enter any agreement with Washington and Madison LLC lobby firm? No. The only government that have remained in contract and continue to retain their contract with Mazi Elias, that is representing the Biafran people in Washington, D.C. today, is the Biafran Republic government in exile, ably led by His Excellency, the Prime Minister, Mazi Oge Nkere. Now, the contract with Washington and Madison, announced on January 10, seeks to persuade the U.S. to impose sanctions on Nigerian officials, recognize a Biafran government, and even support military actions. These are part of the negotiation that the Biafran Republic government in exile are having with the American government. The agreement asserts that violence against Christians in Nigeria is the government's responsibility and argues that a new Biafran government will better serve American interests. Now, the agreement asserts that the violence against Christians in Nigeria is the government's responsibility and argues that a new Biafran government will better serve American interests. It also promised U.S. oil companies more favorable deals. We all saw the last time that our prime minister, when he was the acting prime minister, we also the deals that the Biafran Republic government in exile are having with the American government. And now they cannot be able to hide all those facts anymore. Now they are publishing it for everybody to see, and most especially for the Biafran people to recognize their true government. For them to recognize their true government, the only government that is fighting for their own best interest is the Biafran Republic government in exile, and stating categorically the effort that the Biafran Republic government in exile have been able to make in Washington, D.C., that have pulled the Nigerian terrorist government on their toes today, that they have come out to project $9 million to counter this obvious truth of the Biafran people regarding the Christian genocide in Nigeria. However, some of them will say America is coming for our oil. They are coming for which oil? Did the oil belong to you? The oil belongs to the Biafran people. The oil is in our land, and we will make use of what we have to get what we want or what we need. So it's our own. We can use it to negotiate with the American government. Come and let's do business with our oil, but this is what we want. It's nobody's business. And nobody should come and tell me the oil, how has the oil benefited us? Instead, the oil is being used to buy weapons that are killing us, the Christians. So instead of we allowing that oil to be going to the weapons that is fashioned against us, it is good for us to use that oil to protect our lives. And that is what the Biafran Republic government in exile is doing by these deals that has been tabled to the table of the American government, that you guys can have this and make sure that our life is being protected, and make sure that the Nigerian terrorist government did not use this, their funded terrorists, to eliminate and wipe us off from the surface of this planet Earth. And I think that is the right move at the right direction. I don't know anybody that is coming to come. I don't know anybody.
All in for Onyeka, where is Onyeka?
Yeah, so let me just round up now. However, the contract omits the fact that Christians have also been victims of attacks carried out by separatist groups in the southeast. Washington and Madison is run by Elias Guerra Solis. Washington and Madison is run by Elias Guerra Solis. Did this say it's run by Bruce Fenn, the fake lobby? Is this say it's being run by the so-called DOC? No. It is run by Washington. It is run by Mazi Elias Guerra Solis, a Republican fundraiser who has donated to Senator Ted Cruz, according to a report by the African Confidential. Mr. Cruz shares the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. If we all pay attention, when Mazi Success was making the submission today on today's space, he mentioned this Senator Ted Cruz, that we are in the good books of Senator Ted Cruz.
Exactly.
And we are making a tremendous progress. The Biafran Republic government in Nigeria have been able to make this tremendous progress in Washington, D.C. that has brought us where we are today, that now our matter, our plight is being discussed in the highest office of this world, which is in the United States of America. Something our internal leader clamored for, but he was betrayed. What our supreme leader clamored for, but he was betrayed. He clamored for a day like this where he will be able to be heard by the American congressmen and women. But today, we, the Biafran people, with our newly elected Prime Minister, Mazi Oge Nkere, have made those dreams come true. I don't know what else our people want. After seeing so much progress that the Biafran Republic government in exile have made in Washington, D.C.
We are moving. Congratulations.
The Biafran group's representative
Thank you for
is
sharing.
Isaiah Harrison Anyogo. Which name when I hear now, my brothers and my sisters? The Biafran group's representative is Isaiah Harrison Anyogo, also known as Oge Nkere, who reportedly resides in Baltimore, Maryland. He identifies himself as the acting prime Minister of the Biafran government, Biafran movement in exile, of which today he has been elected as the Prime Minister. My brothers and my sisters out there, Biafrans all over the world, which name did you hear from this publication? This publication is not coming from the Biafran People publication. This publication is coming from Premium Times. Go and check it out. This publication is coming from Premium Times, and Mazi Oge Nkere has been recognized as the head of this government that is pushing for the freedom.
If they're not right about
for the emancipation of the Biafran people,
buy their paper
from the grip of the Nigerian terrorist government.
If you want to sell, you talk about Biafra. Simple.
The Biafran group's representative is Isaiah Harrison Ayogo, also known as Oge Nkere, who reportedly resides in Baltimore, and in Baltimore is where our head office is.
They were.
And that was where he was sworn in as the Prime Minister of the Biafran Republic government in exile. Yesterday, everybody watched it live when it was broadcast by the Department of Information and Communication of the Biafran Republic government in exile. Now I read. Previous Biafran leaders, NNAMDI, KANU, and Simon Ekpa, are currently in custody in Nigeria and Finland, respectfully. So these previous leaders that are in custody cannot be able to do anything because the world needs a leader they can be able to see one-on-one, negotiate with that leader. The world cannot be waiting for a leader that is still under detention or being incarcerated in one prison or the other all over the world before they start talking about Biafra. We need an active Prime Minister for now to be able to free both our leaders that are in custody. So whatever the Biafran Republic government or whatever decision that the Biafran Republic government in exile have taken yesterday is on the right track. It's for the betterment of every one of us out there. We should understand this fact because even your enemies understood it more than you. And that is why they are panicking. Because they thought that maybe once they lock up our supreme leader, they lock up our former prime minister, the movement will remain stagnant, everybody will get tired, and the movement will collapse naturally. But they were met with a more mental toughness that the Biafran people has. So now is the time. Although if I have time, I will go back, but you know, all this one is irrelevant because they are not doing anything. This remaining part is talking about the internal dispute of other shenanigans. You understand? So it's not. Now let me just read this one. The battle for influence. Both Nigeria and Biafra groups are cutting the same power centers in Washington, D.C., particularly conservative Republican politicians and evangelical Christian organizations. Now it has been established. Let me read it again. The battle for influence. Both Nigeria and Biafran groups are cutting the same power centers in Washington, D.C. That we are now at the center of the American government, and the Nigerian terrorist government are there with us. They are there with us regarding this diplomatic war, because they termed it war. This diplomatic battle, we are not fighting it head on with them. And that is why every one of you needs to wake up and support what the Biafran Republic government in exile is doing. Because now is the right time for every one of us to get ourselves organized under one umbrella, which is the Biafran Republic government in exile, and make sure we put in our resources in all one basket and fight this thing head on once and for all with the Nigerian terrorist government, because we are already defeating them. They said we are miscreants. They said there's nothing we can be able to do. They say nobody will take us serious. But today, the American government is now taking the Biafran people serious. And they are the ones now running to come and counter. No, what the Biafran people are saying is not true. Please, sell weapons to us. Please don't bomb us. Don't take what the Biafran people are saying to. This is what the cry that the Nigeria, the so-called high and mighty Nigerian government is crying in Washington, D.C. today, to counter the obvious truth of the Biafran people, to counter the obvious truth that Christians are being slaughtered, are being massacred on daily basis, where evidences are all over the places. Picture evidences, video evidences, audio evidences are all over the places. Real-time testimonies of the persecuted Christians are all over the place. That American government have to send congressional delegate to Nigeria for first-hand information to interview the persecuted Christians, that they have killed their mothers, they have killed their fathers, they have killed their children, they have killed their babies, they have killed their women. It's what the shameless Nigerian terrorist government is coming out today, thinking that if they like, let them bring $900 billion. They will never overturn the obvious truth that is flying so high and glaring to the whole world, most especially to the president of the free world, President Donald J. Trump, and the American people. Now is the time for the American people to stand up and support the Biafran people, to support the Biafran Christians. Pro-Biafran groups have cultivated relationships with these constituencies for decades, securing support from influential Republicans such as Mr. Cruz and former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. This long-standing support may have contributed to the Tinubu administration's decision to invest heavily in lobbies with ties to Mr. Trump. And there's something I want to make clear to every one of us out there. You know, when they say, they are lobbying Republican lobbies that are close to Trump, blah, 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 blah. I want us to remember, even Donald Trump's in-law tried to downplay the Christian genocide in Nigeria. Did this stop Donald Trump to command the airstrike in Sokoto and Zamfara that killed so many terrorists? It did not stop him because they know the truth. Mr. Trump is a man of truth. And he believes the people that he's working with. So, anybody, if they like, let them go and lobby Trump's wife. That is their problem. The truth is the truth.